Following up with Miriam Kerschner, Miriam, tell us, now that we've seen the vote, we know Trump will be acquitted, they don't have the supermajority. What are your thoughts? Open-ended. No wrong answers. Just only questions from people online.
They did exactly what they should have done. He should have been acquitted. They never should have had any court hearing about President Trump. This is a charade, a waste of taxpayers' money, and it's your money that they're taking from you to have this charade. And I really believe you should write to all your congressmen and your senators about this nonsense. They keep on going on and on and on and on about President Trump.
Now, the news is obsessed with Trump, and they won't let it go. They keep talking about him over and over. He's in every headline.
Right.
Why aren't they talking more about Biden?
Because Biden has nothing to offer. Biden is a person who is being maneuvered by the Democratic Party. He certainly does not understand what is going on. He certainly isn't aware of what is going on. They're keeping him in the dark about everything. And he's signing papers he doesn't know that he's signing. And anybody who's been watching television, or anybody who has been watching the news, and I mean the news, will know that President Biden does not know who President Biden is writing an agreement to.
Yeah, what was the actual order that he was signing when he said,
I don't
know what I'm signing. What is this? And they said, go ahead and sign right here.
He does not know.
But do we know what it was?
No. And they will not let you know. And they don't care to let you know.
We talked a little bit ago about Trump being acquitted and questioning whether or not he would run. Now, obviously, if he was found guilty, he could not hold federal office again. He will be found not guilty and be served an acquittal in the unprecedented second impeachment. Do you think he runs again? Now that he is able, right? Because that was the whole driving force behind the impeachment was, would he run again or not? Do you think Trump is the guy to say, take my ball and go home? Let somebody else do it.
I don't know what President Trump is thinking right now. I know one absolute. He's no fool. He's thinking this out very, very well. Do I believe he would run again? There's a possibility. Do I believe he would be the force behind somebody that is running? Absolutely.
Yeah. Who do you think he would be okay supporting? Who do you think would be the number one person for him to get behind? Because you understand as well as I do, the Trump machine now can aim itself in any direction, and it will go forward.
Right.
So who's the person? If it's not going to be Trump, if Trump decides, I don't want to be an 80-year-old president,
Correct.
I'd rather be an 80-year-old shot caller
Correct.
to the president,
Yes.
who would that person be?
Ron DeSantis is number one on my list. He did an excellent job in Florida in terms of the warp speed needles. Everyone here is on top of their game. Florida is flourishing. We're doing a wonderful job in terms of people that are getting their shots on time, and there's no havoc going on as in other states. I would say that Robert DeSantis might have his first pick. Other than that, I don't believe there are too many people in the mix right now.
So Ron DeSantis is your front runner?
Absolutely.
Is that just because you're in Florida right now?
No, because I believe that Rob DeSantis is doing a wonderful job.
Do you know what he told Joe Biden the other day? Did you see anything about their conference call that they'd had?
No.
So Joe Biden is telling Ron DeSantis, you must take this federal funding with the vaccines that we will enforce upon your citizenry. And if you don't, we'll remove the federal funding and we'll block anyone from traveling interstate. And what he had said in response was he will enable the state National Guard for Florida to protect Floridians. And his response was, excuse me, you'll refer to me as President Biden.
Okay.
And what did Ron DeSantis do? Did you hear this at all?
No, I did not.
He said, I will not, and you can go fuck yourself, Joe.
Well, that's,
so knowing that, do you want, I mean, is that cool by you? He can
absolutely
still be president?
not. 75 million people voted for a man that should have been the president. The carpet was taken from the rug, was taken from him. right under him. Do I believe that President Biden is trying to reenact something that President Trump would do? Absolutely. He's trying to sound like a big boss because he's actually a character in the government. He's not the president of the United States. He's just a chess player, and that's all he is. He's being pulled, pushed, cohorted, cajoled by everybody in the Democratic Party. He absolutely is not doing what he wants to do.
Well, I go one further. I just say that Joe Biden's a puppet. Like, he's not making decisions himself, because if you look at Joe Biden's policies from 20 years ago, they were not what he would be doing right now.
Right.
And no one changes their principles and values and morals
Right.
over 20 years unless they have become corrupted
Correct.
themselves. No one gets better over time.
Right.
So we're looking at everything that's happening with China, with Joe Biden, in comparison with Ron DeSantis here in Florida. You don't have a lot of crazy obscenities in referring to COVID lockdowns here. For instance, walking into the building here, you gotta have your mask on. But
Correct.
no one is telling you you can't go to that store or you can't go to work.
Right.
What is the right of what's the right thing for people to do in Florida to try to convince people around the country that Florida's not a danger, right? Because President Biden says the people of Florida present a clear and present danger, as does the president. So they're saying the former President Trump and anyone in Florida, they're the danger to the United States. How do we flip that?
The only danger that I believe we have is President Biden being in office.
I agree with you there. I 100% agree there. So how do we push? How do we push back on him? How do we make it so that Joe Biden can't get anything done? Because he's not. No new laws are going through Congress. No new laws are going through Congress. Everything is being dictated by executive order.
Correct.
That's a dictator.
Right.
Do we petition the military to take him down? What do we do
at
that's
this
legal
point,
without
at this
causing an
point,
insurrection?
I believe at this point we all should wait a little bit longer and get some direction from President Trump.
I love that.
I believe that we're going to get many, many signs from him in the next few weeks as to what we should do. And I can assure you that I, for one, will be there on the front lines to support him in anything he decides to do.
Love it. So Trump's going to come out in the next couple of weeks. And I agree. I thought that he would be coming out after his impeachment. He'll give a statement. He'll say this was correct. They did the right thing.
Right.
It's a tragedy and a shame to see these 7 or so Republicans vote against me. But even still, we know now who's on what side. What do you think his game plan will be? He's going to announce something. What do you think it will be?
Well, President Trump has always said, you don't have to like me as president. You just have to like what I do for the country. And that's what he said all along.
And you would think most people agree with that.
Most people do agree. But their constituents and the fact that they make quite a bit of money, that dissuades them from doing the right thing. And I really believe for those 7 who did not vote for President Trump in this scenario that just happened, which is, by the way, a joke, I believe it's their jobs they're at risk at. And I will speak to you as a independent and as a Republican. All of you should listen to what is going on here and pay attention to what is going on here. And the next thing you do is write to your congressmen and your senators and your governors and do something about it. Don't sit idly by and wait for something to happen. It will not happen without the support of us, the American people.
Do you think it's possible for us to lobby state and local? I mean, I guess there's no such thing as a local military, right? But if you have a state National Guard,
Okay.
you have like Texas has its own Texas military guard.
Okay.
There are certain things, and this is why I think Trump went to Texas immediately following January
Right.
6th, because that was where he would be most protected.
Right.
I think that's what most people agree on. What can we do locally? What can we do in our own states? Because you're in Florida today, but you'll someday be back in New Jersey. I'll be back in Michigan. What can we do locally in our states that aren't right-leaning?
We need to start petitioning. We need to go door to door. We need to speak to people. We need to speak and to communicate with other people and find out what is going on in each family life. That is the way we're going to start. It's called the grassroots. Everybody, all of us, have to start from the grassroots. Forget the media, forget the newspapers, forget anything that you hear. Just start from the grassroots. The people. The people are us. We're the ones that make decisions for this country, and we're the ones who have to decide the course this country takes.
Do you think that it's possible to just simply write and call and petition, knowing now what we know? Right, and I've been with you. 6 years ago, if you told me you want change, you write your congressman, you call, you protest, you petition. But now it seems like they're not listening to the letters. They're not taking your calls. If you protest, they'll label you an extremist unless you're rioting on the left. So I think we're looking at like an evolution, a next level of civic activism.
Correct.
And that is, I think what you're saying, go door to door. Because protesting at the state capitol building will get you labeled an extremist and a militiaman and a racist.
Right.
If I go to my neighborhood and I say, I did a quick straw poll,
Absolutely.
and 90% of these families said they would support Trump or voted for him, and in what way would my county then have voted a different way? And I think if we want an audit to be conducted, we must do one ourselves, because the federal government will not do one. And a simple audit can be done not by asking to see the ballots, because they already have burned and shredded many. Why wouldn't we just ask people how they voted?
That's right. And then, after you do that, you try to impeach the person who is right now in political power.
Do you think that the articles of impeachment that I've seen against Joe Biden so far, do you think any of them have any standing? I mean, I understand that they're correct, but do you think that they would go anywhere?
Not at the moment. At the moment.
After 2022?
Yes.
What's happening then?
I think that people are going to see a complete change in this country. They're going to be very unhappy with what is going on. And yes, I think they're going to ask Biden to step down. Or Biden will step down on his own.
And he said he would do that.
Yes.
Right? He said, if I have a disagreement with Kamala, I'll step down.
Absolutely, and I think that's what his intentions are. Yes.
I kind of get the same feeling, right? He's getting into office and then he passes, 50 executive orders in 3 weeks?
Right.
And I think that's like a shotgun approach. Like, you're going to go out and just get all your laws out of the way, and then you'll see what kind of sticks. And if it doesn't, he'll bow out.
My theory is I don't believe Joe Biden was prepared for this position. I don't believe that Kamala Harris is either. I believe they're in shock, they're there, and I believe that they have too much, they're in way over their heads. And I believe that they're going to fall. Like Jericho, the walls are going to fall. And I believe that President Trump will be there to pick it up.
So, it's interesting you say that, because the Jericho line has been brought up multiple times, right? General Flynn was saying the walls of Jericho are falling.
Absolutely.
But Jericho had to be built first.
Well,
and so so what I'm saying is Joe Biden had to become the office holder in order for it to crumble. You can't say he stole the presidency unless he sits in the seat and then acts as president for a certain amount of time.
I don't know if he himself stole it, but
well,
I know
of course
that
not. He's
the whole
brainless.
right.
He's a corpse. Walking,
He,
but a puppet
absolutely,
still has
absolutely.
a puppeteer.
He is definitely not the person that was behind this game. There were a whole
It was Barack
group.
Obama. Barack Obama's third term.
There is a whole slew of people that are behind Trump's demise. I can assure you that it was not Biden, because I don't believe Biden had any idea, because they knew when push came to shove, they would have to ask Biden. And Biden said, I know nothing of this. And they kept him in the dark about this. He didn't know he was going to win. He had no intentions of winning. Neither did she. Because at 20-10, when they locked down the voting, that was it. And then they won the election. We all know that's not true. We all know this is a farce. And I believe that totally.
So going into 2022 then, you say things are going to change, we will have change, things will happen because, like you said, people are going to see the country fall apart.
Right.
They're going to be upset. There's going to be anger.
Yes.
There's going to be resentment
Yes.
for the people that have been duped. Because forget you and I, we're already mad. We're pissed. I am. But the people that voted for Biden, thinking this would be good, then they just lost their job, they're going to be even more upset.
I believe all the people that voted for Biden were the people that did not like Trump and did not understand how valuable Trump was to the country.
Right.
Instead of voting for him, not on the fact that they didn't like his character, but on what he does for the country, they voted for anyone but Trump. And they did not think of the country as a whole. And I think some of them are very upset with President Biden.
2022, Raphael Warnock's special Senate seat in
Right,
Georgia is
right,
up.
right.
So he'll technically have to win a re-election again in 2022.
Right.
What do we do between now and then to fix the voting system?
Well, what we
so
have
that we
to
can
do-
actually elect people in 2022. Because I get it. In 2023, you'd be able to impeach Biden if you had the votes.
Okay.
And to get those votes, we need to fix the voting system.
Georgia and the people that live in Georgia have to do exactly what I just said.
Yeah,
Door
listen
to
up,
door.
Georgians. Listen up.
Door to door. Walk and have rallies. Walk and have committee meetings. Walk together and have sign applications. Walk with groups of people. Know their names, know their numbers, know who they are, who your neighbors are. And then as a group, then you have something to stand on. On one leg, you're not going to do it. Do it in groups. Find out who is who and what is what, because that's the difference. Nobody is communicating, and that's why there's a problem.
Do you think that the voter registration efforts put in by the left and by the Democrats in the last 4 years have anything to do with the sheer number of new voters? Because I do understand there are some people that say, look, you have 200% voter turnout from the last election in a certain county.
Okay.
They'll say that that's fake. But I can imagine a county with really low turnout 1 year who is galvanized now and the next
Right.
could easily double.
Right.
So that doesn't necessarily tell me that every county that was over 100% was fraud, but it does tell me they worked their asses off to get new voters registered who had never been before. And I think at that point, it doesn't matter if they vote then.
And
They're
so
just
did
registered
the
on paper.
Republicans. They did the same exact thing.
Then
They
why
went
wouldn't we
door
have
to
a better
door.
outcome?
Well, in New Jersey, in the area that I live in, certainly they got a better outcome. Do I believe in the state of New Jersey? I honestly cannot tell you. I don't know. But I will tell you that something extremely crooked happened during that election. And I believe, as far as I'm concerned, and the American people, if I were them, I would not allow this to go any further. I would put a stop to this, the entire charade.
Question on Cuomo, because New York is close to you,
Yes.
emotionally and physically, right?
Yes.
And if you couldn't already hear, there's an accent there, you can tell.
Nah.
Nah, not at all. So, New York's governor, Cuomo, had a
Right.
secretary speaking to Democratic leadership, and the call was leaked,
Okay.
where she says, we've been covering half of the deaths in nursing homes. They had originally reported it was 6,500. It's actually over 13,000. Some people are estimating more like 15,000 to 20,000 dead in nursing homes from COVID because
Right.
they put sick people in the nursing homes instead of going
Correct.
to the Javits Center, instead
Correct.
of using military. Do you think he'll be charged? Because people are on the left. People are
The
calling for him to be
media
charged.
has covered up every fallacy, every falsehood, anything possible about the Democratic Party. And unless you wise up to this, I'm very sorry. The country is going to go way downhill.
Can we just change the Democrats to Communist Party? Because that
How about
Communist Party.
I would say they're more socialist than communists.
But
Because-
that's a step from one to the other.
Absolutely. I
Think
mean,
of the
either you call
Socialist
them
American Party,
communists
the-
or socialists, it
the
doesn't make a
SAPs,
difference.
or the CAPs, whatever.
Absolutely, no question about it. If you can allow America to dissolve, well, then you know something's on your back. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to work my damnedest to work as hard as I can to keep America the way Americans should have it, which is
Afloat.
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
So then, last question for you.
Sure.
In a perfect idea, a perfect scenario, ideal utopia that you get to create with the leadership that you want. Who's the governor of New York? Who's the governor of New Jersey? Who's the president?
Who would I prefer?
Who would you get to pick a clean slate right now?
Oh, here we go. Wow. Woo! I would like possibly, I'd have to think. Right now, Robert DeSantis would be my first pick. Right now. Second pick for mayor would be Mayor Giuliani's son.
He's got a professional son?
Yes, who was very interested, yes, who's interested in working for New York City. And as far as
So hang on. So you want DeSantis as governor in New York?
no, as president.
Okay. So you wouldn't pick Trump again?
No, not right now, no. Because I think that Donald Trump has to take a step backwards and play chess the way he's playing chess.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't move the queen until
No,
the very end of the game.
that's right, exactly, and so he should not.
So you keep Trump on the sideline for a while, just cheering and being
That's
smart.
right.
You put DeSantis in.
Right.
Then you say you have Giuliani running.
Giuliani's son.
Right.
His son,
Well,
right now.
He's still Giuliani.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And as far as New Jersey is concerned,
Just take it yourself. Why don't you be governor for a while?
oh God, no. As far as governor,
Who's a good local politician
Jersey.
to you that you like in Jersey? Give them a shout out. I mean, there's going to be people seeing it.
Oh, there are people. There are a lot of good people. There's Jay Smith, who's very, very good. He's a Democrat, but he happens to be.
It's the only way you're electable in New Jersey.
Yeah, but he is someone who follows the rule of law.
That's ironic.
And he is actually the mayor of my county, and we like him very much. The mayor of Marlborough and Manalapan.
So Mayor Jay Smith, check.
No, Jay Smith is. You're talking about. We're talking about a governor.
Okay.
I would say Smith.
Oh, my bad.
Oh no, I may be wrong too. We're both wrong. I would say possibly right now he's right now low on the totem pole. I would say the mayor right now of Marlborough Township. Oh, if you hear this, boy, you can come to the house. He'll be very happy to hear that. But he happens to be a Democrat, and I really don't care. He's fabulous. He speaks for all people, and he's terrific.
I already lied because I said this was the last question, but now I have
You
one
can
more.
ask me one more.
You said you're going to text Trump and text Rush and talk to these folks.
Yes.
If you could, what's the right way to put it? Yeah, that's a silly question. I'll cut this part out. That's a dumb thing. I was going to ask you what you were going to think that they would say. Well, maybe that makes sense. Okay. All right. Last question. This is the real last question now.
Okay.
You've met Trump. You've been with Trump.
Yes.
You know Donald Trump.
Yes.
You guys are
Yes.
tight.
Yes.
If you were to say, I'm going to go into the mindset of Donald, what do you think? What would you hope his message would be? Because the other day I said, what would you want people to know? And you said, don't you dare give up. But if you expect Trump to sit on the sidelines and watch DeSantis be president, it's got to bite him a little bit. What would you expect Trump's message to be to the people?
Bring down the walls of Jericho. Bring down the walls of Sodom and Gomorrah. Bring them all down one by one, little by little, each one of them. But I know you'll do that anyway.
The Tower of Babel.
That Babylon, yes.
The Biden Babel.
That's right. Let them tear it down, just as they did to you for 4 years. Tear it down. Tear it down. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start all over again. Have a brand new Congress, brand new people, and let's start all over again.
Clean house.
Clean house. Clean them all out.
Love it.
Okay? It's a pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you to Miriam Kerschner.
Thank you, Tommy.
Keep America afloat.
Keep America afloat.